I remember being 6-year-old little Andrew, Drew. I remember being in tears as I leaped onto my father's luggage, asking him not to leave, begging him to stay with his family. My mother, like my father, was broken apart, and after the divorce, we moved. A few years later, after living in different houses and sleeping on many living room floors, my mother met someone. She was so happy with him, and soon I was going to have another little brother. About 6 months before he was born, I came home to the worst news. That man my mom loved was leaving. I saw the same brokenness and tear on my mom's face that I had seen as little Drew. All I could think was, what about the baby? As he walked out, he stopped, looked at 10-year-old me and said, "Take care of my kid for me." That day I made a promise to myself that I would never leave my little brother's side. My mother fell into a deep depression. Life had no purpose to her. All we knew was pain and darkness. But then we were invited by a friend to church, here to Faith Church. We were desperate for hope, for a chance that things could get better. And I remember showing up thinking this place is enormous. Everyone was happy, smiling and waving, and I thought to myself, I want to be happy just like them. I could see in my mom's eyes that she longed for that same happiness and hope. That same day, my mom signed up to volunteer. And every day after that, I saw the hope in my mom's eyes. She experienced the passionate love of Jesus. From the age of 11 to 17, I kept my promise. I never left my family's side, but somewhere along the way, I began to forget that promise. I got carried away by the world. I was 17, I was an atheist, and I didn't believe in God. After spending my entire childhood raising my youngest brother and being the man of the house, I wanted to live for myself. And I broke that promise, and I left. This eventually led to a drug dependency that would spiral out of control. I was in and out of jail, and I was letting down everybody that loved me. By 25, I was making good money from a good job, had the beautiful apartment, the fancy car, but I was abusing prescription drugs in order to allow me to perform better. This went on for 3 years. Then one day I woke up, and everything hit me. I had everything I thought would bring me happiness, but still I felt alone and depressed. I looked in my cupboard full of pills, and I realized I was spending $900 a week on them. And I thought, what's the point? And I had thoughts of suicide. I fell to my knees and I screamed out to God, and at that moment I felt like God released me from the chains that were binding me. And on December 18, 2015, I was freed from my addiction, and this December I'll be celebrating 4 years of sobriety. I'd like to say that everything was perfect, but 2 weeks after giving my life to God, I was fired from my job, evicted from my house, and my car was repossessed. It stirred feelings of brokenness and depression, but I knew God was at work inside of me because He promised me that everything was going to be okay. Until this day, I hold on to that promise. You see, the Lord brought me back here to West Covina, here to Faith Church, the same place my mom found hope, restoration after she was broken and alone. I came back here thinking this place is still enormous. Everyone was still happy, smiling and waving, and I pictured my mom 19 years ago walking in, desperate for hope, yet signing up to volunteer. So I did the same, and I signed up to serve. At first, I was nervous and afraid. I thought I wasn't good enough to serve, and I thought I was too broken and imperfect. But I knew it was something I had to do, so I went for it. And what I realized, nobody's perfect. We all have our shortcomings. You see, the enemy was trying to make me believe that I had to be perfect in order to walk through the church doors. But not here at Faith. Here, we accept all who walk through the doors, no matter your past, no matter your situation. Since that day, I haven't looked back. I now know God has a plan and a purpose for my life, to empower the next generation to know Jesus and His love, to remind them that no matter how hard life may get, no matter how stressful it can get, He can work it all together for the good. Through all the twists, all the turns, that's the promise I hold on to. This victory in Jesus.